Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let Go and Trust Your Team. My name is Troy Adams. I am the owner of Carolina DJ Professionals and the founder of Make Your Business Dance. And more importantly, I have been there with you and trying to figure out how to let go and trust your team. If you're watching this and that's where you're at, this video is going to be a help, I promise. And however you define your team, is your team the people that work for you, work with you? Is it your network, your colleagues, whatever your team is? Hey, I know the struggles in letting go and trusting other people to do things that are so impactful to other lives and certainly impactful on your business. As the owner of a DJ company, every weekend I have 15 to 20 people going out and representing not just me and my life's work and my revenue and how I put food on the table, but also the people that work for me and do this full time as well. I'm trusting a lot of people to go out and help celebrate the biggest days in others' lives, just like you. And I can't be there when it's happening. And so I've really got to let go and trust that I have prepared them the right way, that they are able to execute, and I understand the difficulty in it. So let's dive in and talk about how to let go and trust your team. My worst fear came true. My worst fear has always been that we would screw up the biggest day or one of the biggest days in someone's life at their wedding. That it would be totally on us, that we messed it up. And that could happen in a number of ways. In this case, one of my biggest fears is that somebody doesn't show or something happens and I'm stuck and can't provide a DJ. So that's kind of what happened here. Let me take you back to what happened. It was 2021 New Year's Eve. I was at the beach with my family and we were getting ready to come back to Charlotte. We had just taken a few days, quick getaway, and we were coming back to be in Charlotte for New Year's Eve, to be home as a family. Of course, I had DJs working. Now, New Year's Eve for us, obviously, it's one of the biggest days of the year, one of the most requested days of the year. But I also have a lot of families, a lot of DJs who have families. And so I have a lot of people that don't work that. And so availability is really tight. So I woke up on New Year's Eve, or I should say the night before New Year's Eve. I went to bed with a text message from my team that one of our photo booth staff had bailed out last minute. Didn't want to work New Year's Eve. Wasn't comfortable working with the COVID situation, which totally understand. We said, totally respect that. We'll get it taken care of. My team text messaged me to let me know. It was late at night. I just text back and said, y'all let me know what you need help with, figuring it out, and let's touch base again in the morning. So by the next day, they had taken care of it the next morning. I was like, awesome. This is what I have a team for that I can trust. They've handled it. Amazing. We're getting ready to drive back to Charlotte in the middle of the day, and I get a phone call from my staff director that one of our DJs arrived on site for his wedding, got out of the car, passed out. And when he came to beside his vehicle, obviously very freaked out, immediately took himself right to the ER. Did all the right things, called his director, and let him know, and then my director was calling me to let me know, and we brainstormed a little bit, and he said, I got it, and I gave him some ideas, and he rolled with it. But my greatest fear was, oh my gosh, this is New Year's Eve. I can't help. Sometimes I am the in case of emergency person, in case of ultimate emergency person. In this case, I couldn't. I'm too far away. I can't get there in time. Keep in mind, this is 3-4 hours before the wedding because he was on site getting ready to set up. It's New Year's Eve, so it's obviously that much more of a big deal. And I've got a lot of other people working or not available. My staff director, Jeff, was actually working another gig. But I trusted him to handle it. And then after an hour or so, he called me back and said, got it taken care of, boss. We're on it. One of our other DJs stepped up. Shout out to Aaron, if you ever watch this. Stepped up, handled it, got on site with still like an hour to go, and we crushed it in all regards. And we had a plan B if that didn't work, if Aaron hadn't been able to jump in. But my point being this story is I was driving back and I looked to my wife and said, this is amazing. One of my greatest fears just happened. That something catastrophic happened on on not just a wedding, but a big day on top of it, a holiday on top of it, so to speak, in New Year's Eve, and I can't help, and we got it covered. So I've been able to trust my team throughout my years building a team, but then that was right there the epitome of, wow, I am so lucky to have the team I have and be able to trust them. So let's talk today about how do we get to that point where we can trust our people to represent us. We as small business owners are, what's the word I'm looking for here? We have difficulty in letting go, right? Actually, 70% of small business owners say they would rather do it themselves than give it to someone else. Because, right, we are entrepreneurs, we are creative people, we launched this thing by ourselves. No one can do it better than us. So we have a hard time letting go and trusting other people. 50% of small business owners fail in the first 5 years. 33% within 10 years. I'm sure you've heard that statistic before from the Small Business Administration. But what is the reason for the failure? Well, number one is just, hey, they didn't like the choice they made. They made a poor choice. Number two is the market and the industry. Number three reason is poor management, poor leadership. Failing because we didn't delegate. We didn't lead the right way. And so we need to change that. So why can't we let go? Why can we not let go as business owners? Well, I kind of just said it, right? No one does it better than us. We've built this thing. We're creatives. We're entrepreneurs. We're risk takers. No one can do this better than us. Maybe no one else has proved themselves. And so we can't let go because no one else has proved themselves worthy. Or we don't have the time, right? We're strapped. We're business owners, which means we're the HR department, we're the marketing department, we're the sales department, we're the logistics department, you name it. And we don't have time to train somebody. Some of the reasons why we can't let go. But what does that result in? Well, that results in us being overburdened and unbalanced. It creates a leadership void. Not only are we not leading well, because we're trying to do so much, so we're not doing any of it very well, but it also means we haven't allowed people to rise up. We've created a leadership void. And in that, when we're overburdened and unbalanced and doing so many things, we lose creativity. We don't get the growth we want as a business because we're working in it than on it, and we a lot of times don't have the direction that we want, don't go the direction we want because we're caught in the weeds. So let's talk today about, hey, what do you really want? I oftentimes send out polls and gather, hey, what do you want to get from this? Whatever the topic may be. And so tell me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like, in some of the feedback I've received, that this is what we really want as business owners and as event professionals. We want a lighter load, right? For whatever reason, we want a lighter load. We want to have no worries. We want to have less stress. Our reputation is extremely important. We want to leave a legacy. We want to have a great name, our reputation. And we want to grow. We want to be challenged. We want to be fulfilled. That's what we want, right? With everything we do. So how do we get that? How do we trust other people and get that? What's the plan? Well, this is what we're going to talk about today. How do we get to this place of trust with our team? We've got to understand people first and foremost. Not everyone is like us. We have to understand people. We've got to create some sample sizes. I went to the store to get ice cream recently with my kids, and he wanted to try a new flavor. And I was like, all right, give me 1 cup of that. And my 6-year-old said, no, wait, Dad, let me sample it. We need to take a sample size of some things. IPO. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to let you try to guess what that means for a second. And then we've got to let them fail. That's our plan of what we're going to talk to today. And here's my goals. I want to challenge you. I want you to say, I don't know if I totally agree with that, or, oh man, that makes me a little uncomfortable. We've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable to grow and really get to where we want to go. I want you to feel inspired. I want you to try something new, and I'm going to give you some tools to help add to your ownership arsenal.